So, but the problem with humans is that we worry about a lot of things. And the Bible says, be anxious for nothing. So just like Joseph was in the prison on a very faithful day, he had no idea that a night before that day that Pharaoh has had a dream, and that dream needed interpretation. He didn't know. He didn't know that 24 hours later that he was going to be the prime minister in the land of Egypt. He never knew that God was already working at a plan. It was God that gave Pharaoh the dream. And it was God that made sure that the wise men of Egypt could not interpret the dream. That the only person who could interpret that dream was Joseph. All these are the plans of God, but Joseph had no idea of these plans. So just like Joseph, many of us, we have been through a lot. Joseph passed through the pit. Joseph was sold into slavery, and even being a slave, Joseph was implicated and eventually became a prisoner. In all these things, Joseph was still maintaining his integrity with God, because he knew this secret that he may not understand the plans that God has for his life, but he knows that God has a plan. And those plans, they are good and not of evil, to give you a hope and to give you a future. What are you worried of? What is the thing that is stealing your peace? Why are you depressed? Imagine the story of Joseph. Joseph could never have helped himself, but he had to be helped by God. There are certain levels in life that only God can take you to. You just have to lean on him and lean not on your own understanding. Child of God, yes, God. And God has a plan for your life. And this plan that God has for your life, you may not be aware of it, but God is aware of it. And this plan is for peace and not of evil, to give you a hope, to give you an expected end, and to give you a future. So I don't know what you are going through today. I don't know the season of the manifestation of God's agenda in your life. But I came here to tell you today that God has a plan for your life. You may be aware of it, you may not be aware of it. Even though you are aware of it, you may have no full knowledge of it, but God has a plan for your life. Majority of those plans you don't know, but he knows. Have you gotten to the point where you have exhausted all your plans, you have made plans, and you have made all these plans, and none of them has worked or achieved the desired result that you want? And presently now you don't even have any plan at all. Can you get to that level where you can believe God that even though you have no plans anymore, that God has a plan, and that plan is for your good and not for your evil, to give you a hope and to give you a picture? Can you get to that level where you can still maintain peace and have faith in God, that even though you may not know what to do, that since God knows what to do, that you have faith in him and things will turn out for your good? Can you believe God to that particular extent? Can you believe God to that extent where you may not know what to do, or you are stranded, you don't know where the next paycheck is going to come from, you don't know where the next meal is going to come from? Can you believe God to that extent where you may not have any idea of what is the next step or what is the next thing to do, but you have every faith that since God has that knowledge, that everything is going to turn out for your good? Can you believe God to that extent? I came here to tell you today that the manifestation of God's plans for your life is not subject to your knowledge. No, sir, it's not. He said, for I know the plans I have for you. You may not know them. You can be a spectator in your own miracle.